travesty that is, because you're never going to get to know your grandkids. You're going to be dead before your kids have kids. And that's so sad that, look, get married and struggle together. And you can hold each other up. You're not going to be in that burning zone where you're just like dying to have sex because you know you're not supposed to, but you hit puberty at 14 and now what, right?
Right.
Look, just get married and stay married and don't listen to the world's lies, and you'll be all right.
Well, Chuck Holton, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I appreciate your passion and what you're trying to do for men and getting them to submit to their Creator and to be the kind of man that He has created them to be. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us today.
Real pleasure to be on with you. Thanks a lot, and good luck with this podcast, and may God bless your efforts to serve Him.
Wow, there's just so much good stuff to unpack there. So let's put this into immediate action. Grab a piece of paper and a pen. First, is there an area in your life where you are putting a manhood role, protector, provider, etc., in front of obedience to God? In Chuck's story, he talked about, his job and how that could have gotten in the way of missing time with his children and how he didn't let that. What is it in your life that you are putting in front of obedience to God? Maybe you already know, God's specifically calling you to do a certain thing and you're putting something else in front of that. What is that? Maybe you don't. Maybe you're not sure of that, but pray on that. Find out what you might have in your life that you're putting in front of what God really has you to do and to be. Next, Chuck talked about the SHAPE acronym and having creeds and rituals to measure yourself by. If you don't already, write down a creed. And you may need to take some time and think about this, but what do you live by on a daily basis? SHAPE, 5 letters. Usually you don't want to have a ton. 3 to 5 to 6 is a good place to settle if you're going to go with that kind of thing, or even statements. 3 to 5 is about where you want to be. But if you don't have one, figure out what the essence of your Christian life is. What does it mean to you? When you look in the Bible or you look at your life, what is your essence? What can you boil your goals and your life down to? And then write it down and then live by it. Next, we talked several times about being passive. So write down some areas in your life where you are not taking action. What steps can you take to hunt down the passivity in your life? What is it that you are just letting slip by the wayside? First, you have to identify it. Then you have to take the steps to fix it. And God's calling in your life, we can't afford to be passive. We can't afford to let someone else take the lead. And again, that doesn't mean we change our dependence on God. That doesn't mean we take control from Him. But He does give us freedom and leeway when we do serve Him. And once He's given us a command, to take full control of that command. And we can't afford to be passive. We can't afford to just sit back in this crazy world and let things happen around us. We need to take charge and take action. So what in your life are you allowing to grow up I love the term he used, as a weed of passivity? Find it, pull it out, identify it. Lastly, in what areas can you push, he talked about his kids specifically, but push your kids or maybe yourself beyond your comfort zone. We tend to settle into being comfortable. That's just, especially if you're an American Christian, the odds are you live a pretty comfortable life, especially compared to the rest of the world. But where can you take a leap or take a challenge? Where can you just push yourself into something uncomfortable, even if it's just a little bit? And then you can grow towards something bigger. For me, this podcast was a huge leap of faith and something incredibly uncomfortable to do. But it might be something small. One of the things I did recently was I changed to a straight razor from a safety razor. It's just a small little thing, but it's uncomfortable to use and to learn how to use a little bit, and it made me feel cool to use it. But it was just a little bit outside of my comfort zone, and I learned a new thing because I didn't want to do something the easy way. And so get outside of what's easy. Get outside of what is maybe your comfort zone. And challenge yourself, challenge your family to do something that will stretch you, that will grow you, that will make you uncomfortable. Well, that wraps up today's show. You can find Chuck online on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. And I will also link his site in the description where you can buy some of his books. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook, find Shepherds and Kings. And of course, you can listen to this podcast on multiple podcast players. But please take some time to leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Please just go by and do that. That helps other men find us and helps us be a little bit more visible. And we appreciate you taking the time to do that. And then lastly, share this with another man. Tell someone else about this episode if you enjoyed it. And maybe another episode if you like that better. But help someone else find the help that they need. Well, that's all I have for you guys. Remember, be the shepherd or the king that God has called you to be.